All-American half pound of 2 pure beef patties, lettuce, tomato.
Singles going steady.
My shoes.
This is Singles Going Steady, the podcast dedicated to exploring great singles with a particular eye to the punk, new wave, and DIY eras of the last century. My name is Steve McGowan.
And my name is Adrian Madoc. We're in a band, The Beef People, who released a single in 1986 on our own label, Zub Records. We're also record collectors and are passionate especially about the expression of pop music perfection that is the single recording. Exploring the mystery of what makes for a great single is what propelled us to begin this podcast.
And this is Singles Going Steady, number 025. And we are going to explore some synth pop today with the British band Soft Cell. This is not an obscure single, but this is a 12-inch version of it.
Yeah, and if you lived through 1981, this is the opposite of an obscure single, because this was everywhere.
It was a major worldwide hit, and it is called Tainted Love. It is a cover song of a Gloria Jones song, and the original song by Gloria Jones was done in 1965, and
it was not everywhere. This was not a well-known single. This is we mentioned Northern Soul earlier. Sort of that particular British genre that loves obscure American soul artists, particularly from the 70s, and revels in finding little-known gems, digging them up, taking and in fact, this very single was dug up by somebody in the early 70s.
Yeah, a DJ.
A DJ returned it to England and sort of made it a Northern Soul club hit.
Yeah, where Mark Almond was the coat check boy at this club, and he heard the song, and he got a tape of it, and the next thing he knew... The next thing he knew, he had a Soft Cell single. So
there were a few years maybe in between, but
this is a great song. This is great. The original is quite impressive. We're going to listen to a little bit of it from '66, Gloria Jones.
Mid-60s, it's in there. We've seen 64, 65, 66. That shows you how obscure it is.
Yes. Gloria Jones, and the song is Tainted Love. Here we go. So that's Gloria Jones. Now, before we listen to the Soft Cell single, the Tainted Love version we're going to listen to is the 12-inch version, and it goes from Tainted Love into the Supremes' Where Did Our Love Go?
And it's the opposite of obscure 60s soul single.
This is not obscure.
not a Northern Soul uncovered relic.
Yes, and not a cover I would tackle easily either, but Mark Almond seems to make it sound pretty good. But we figure you probably know this song, but just in case you hadn't heard it, we're going to play you a little bit of the Supremes. This is from 1964 on Motown, a Holland Dozier Holland song, and it is called Where Did Our Love Go? Diana Ross and the Supremes.
Take it, Miss Ross.
Baby, 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 don't leave me. Ooh, please don't leave me all by myself. I've got this burning, burning, yearning feeling inside me. Ooh, deep inside me, and it hurts so bad. You came into my heart so tenderly, with our burning love that stings like a bee. Now that I've surrendered so helplessly, you now wanna leave. Ooh, you wanna leave me. Ooh, baby, baby, where did our love go? Ooh, don't you want me? Don't you want me no more? Ooh, baby.
Okay, so there's the Supremes. We're setting the table here for this single. Soft Cell is a band from the north of England, from Leeds. They are a duo, and what I had read and seen in interviews with them is they wanted to be a punk band, but they couldn't afford guitars. And Dave Ball, the keyboard player, he decided, in Britain they and in America, but especially in Britain, they have these kits where you can build your own keyboards and build your own radios and things. And the British are very into that because they don't have any money and they're very frugal and they have a lot of time on their hands. And so he built a few homemade keyboards. And what they considered what they were doing was just punk rock with keyboards. And it's an interesting approach that they took from it. And he hooked up with Mark Almond, the singer, who's got just an incredible voice. And we're going to listen to the 12-inch Soft Cell doing Tainted Love and Where Did Our Love Go? This is from 1981. In the U.S., it was on Sire Records. Here we go.
Sometimes I feel I've got to run away. I've got to get away from the pain you drive into. Lord, me, the love we share seems to go nowhere, and I've lost my light, for I toss and turn, I can't sleep at night. Once I ran to you, now I run from you. This tainted love you've given, I give you all a boy could give you. Take my tears and that's not really all. Tainted love, tainted love. Now I know I've got to run away. I've got to get away. You don't really want any more from me to make things right. You need someone to hold you tight, and you think love is to pray, but I'm sorry, I don't pray that way. Once I ran to you, now I run from you. This tainted love you've given, I give you all a boy could give you. Take my tears and that's not really all. Tainted love, tainted love. Don't touch me, please. I can be. And now that I'm surrounded so helplessly, you know I believe you wanna leave me. Oh, baby, baby, where did our love go? Oh, don't you leave me, don't you leave me no more. Oh, baby, baby, where did our love go? Oh, don't you leave me, don't you leave me no more. You came into my life so tenderly, with a burning love that stings like a bee. And now that I'm surrounded so helplessly, you know I believe that you wanna leave me. Oh, baby, baby, la, 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 la. Oh, baby, baby, don't you leave me no more. I've got this burning, burning, burning feeling inside me, ooh, deep inside me, and it hurts so bad, baby, baby, baby. Why did I love you? Don't you leave me, don't you leave me no more. And now that I'm surrounded so helplessly, you know I believe you wanna leave me. Oh, baby, baby, where did our love go? Where did our love go? Where, now that I'm surrounded, oh, so helplessly.
All right, Soft Cell. We just had a very long single on one of our earlier podcasts, The Sparks, Number One in Heaven. But this one beats that one because it's basically two songs wrapped into one. It's over 8 minutes long. We didn't play the whole thing, of course. It's definitely a dance song. It's not... I don't know if I would call it disco, but it's dance.
No, but
yeah.
I think there's a definite line between the earlier podcast about
Donna
about
Summer
Sparks and Donna
Sparks,
Summer,
right.
and where you've got this very human diva voice. In
Right.
that case, it was Donna Summer, and sort of in this surrounded by a padding of machine music.
Right.
And you've got that going on here too, sort of this incredibly human, not diva voice, but
No.
a virtuosa voice.
Yes.
And sort of humanizing this very mechanistic, automated sounding music.
And some of the keyboard sounds are very DIY and very kind of goofy. There's part in Where I Love Go, it kind of sounds like a toy piano
Plink,
almost.
plink.
Yes. They're not going over that heavy duty industrial German sound, It's definitely got a little bit of a light touch to it, and the little effects that they use on Tainted Love, the honk honk sonar sounds, and they're playful.
Yes, it's good fun.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree. This was obviously a huge thing for Soft Cell. This was before their first album came out, Nonstop Erotic Dancing, and it was a huge hit. It just propelled them. They were on top of the pops in England, and they were a hit in the U.S. They were a hit all over Europe. They had some trouble with it. Immediately got into some bad situations with substances, and the band didn't last long because they kind of burned themselves out. Mark Almond started marking the Mambas, and there was a few other things going on, and Dave Ball was helping out some other people, but the band themselves only put out a few records, and this early period is really probably their strongest, I would think.
It's just perfection. The single's just perfection.
It really is.
And it came out when I was in college, and if it came on and you were in a club, everybody hit the floor.
Everybody was dancing, and and your ears would just stick right up when it would come on and be like, oh, there's that song again. It's so catchy,
Irresistible.
Yes. This 12-inch. The B-side of it is also a very good single. It was their first, well, it's not a single, it's the B-side of this single. It was the first Soft Cell single that did not chart. It's called Memorabilia, and it has a little bit different synth sound. We're going to listen to a little bit of Soft Cell doing Memorabilia now from 1981.
Everywhere I go, I take a little piece of you.
So let's talk about machines and music and Kraftwerk, because we kind of have a very human machine music on the A side of this.
Yes.
And a more
robotic on this one.
robotic,
Yes.
more sort of traditional, if you can use the word traditional for electronic music.
Yeah, it reminds you of Kraftwerk in a good way.
Yes.
More mechanized. And it's a great song. I like about the whole thing about collecting things and collecting memories and collecting keychains and ashtrays. And it's just kind of out there. And
Acerbic.
Yes.
Acerbic, I don't know, sort of anti-souvenir. But you can see why there would have been more public resistance to this as an entry single than the A side. You've got the familiarity, not necessarily with the Gloria Jones song. I think, though, the English would have been familiar with that.
Right.
But certainly, as many things in the U.S., you've got this great soul singer that was virtually unrecognized in the U.S. So maybe she got some recognition as in connection with that.
Let's hope so. At
with
least
that
some
great
royalties.
cover. Yeah, and that is a means of access.
Yes.
To get people's ears used to hearing these new sounds.
I know people think that we only go over the nasty punk songs here on the podcast, but we do love synth pop.
You really have to stop writing in and telling us.
we get all the mail from the home office, and but we love synth pop, and there was definitely a period there in the early '80s where there was a lot of really good British synth pop going on. We had Yaz and Depeche Mode.
And we'll be talking about Yaz,
Depeche Mode,
in particular,
and Human League, and all kinds of bands and a lot of one-hit wonders as well. So Soft Cell's part of that tapestry, and very, very good single. You should try to find it. Most everybody knows "Tainted Love," but
I was going to say you should play it at your next celebration or
That's
wedding.
right.
But I thought "Tainted Love" probably
not
best,
good for the wedding. Yes,
maybe not there.
Maybe at your divorce party.
Yeah, exactly. You play it at your breakup party.
Yep. So, can you hear anybody covering this song, Adrian?
Yeah, as we were listening to the single, I was thinking, who today has that sort of range, and I was thinking of Randy Rainbow, the parody artist who does the great political parodies on YouTube.
Wow.
And I think this. He does a lot of show tunes.
You think he changed the lyrics?
Yeah, I think, Tainted Love, certainly present occupant of the White House,
Yes.
certainly has had some run-ins for some intimation of
with some taint.
With some love that is tainted. Or love, never mind.
Yeah, anyway,
but,
you know what we're getting at.
But I think Randy could probably, maybe even the extended version here, this between the two songs, could probably get some political hay in there, some political satire hay.
After seeing the performances at Aretha's funeral, I would like to hear Ariana Grande do both songs, "Tainted Love" and "Where Did Our Love Go?"
I was going through my mind of thinking of similar artists.
I was hoping she won't get groped, but I would love to hear her voice. She's got for such a little girl, she's got an amazing voice, and I would love to hear her sing
the
it.
old religious figures away from her.
That's right. That's right. Keep the bishops away. All right. So, do we have a recommendation?
Recommendations. Get out and dance.
Yeah. That's a good one. That is definitely a good one. My recommendation is a documentary I saw some time ago done by the BBC 4. It's called Synth Britannia. And it does kind of highlight some of the players in the synth pop revolution in the UK. It was made in 2009. They talked to Vince Clarke from Depeche Mode and Martin Gore and some of the other people. It's interesting because it kind of juxtaposes the music and everything. Annie Lennox is in it, Gary Newman, people from the Human League, Pet Shop Boys. Dave Stewart. It shows the kind of bleak industrial Britain, which Britain always seems to be bleak and industrial, especially in the north still, and how these people are trying to create something new, and with the synthesizers instead of guitars. It was a very interesting documentary.
It's certainly appropriate to take something from bleak and industrial roots to take something as mechanized
Yes.
and industrial as electronic music
Yes.
and turn it into something that just absolutely sings.
Yeah, and makes you move your butt.
Yeah.
And it's a good documentary. I think you can see it on Netflix, and check it out. See if you can find it.
If we find it, we'll put a link up for you.
We will. And I think that's it for today.
It is.
Okay, that was Singles Going Steady, number 025. Tainted Love, Where Did Our Love Go? 12-inch single on vinyl by Soft Cell, the band from Leeds. They're not all completely obscure kids. Some of them are just good.
Yep.
So we'll see you next time, okay?
See you next time.
To learn more about the artists and recordings we just talked about, visit our website at zubrecords.com and click on the Singles Going Steady icon.
You'll also find links to the persons, places, and things we recommend, and much more.
You can find episodes of Singles Going Steady on our website or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Singles Going Steady is brought to you by the power and majesty of Zub Records. Zub Records. Smart sounds for sharp people.